Creativity is an addiction. You need it. You have to have it. You crave it. You also want to push it away and get away from it as far as you can. But it wakes you up in the middle of the night and says, come on, man, let's go out and play. But there are rules. I have to have some sleep. No, we'll get sleep tomorrow. Yeah, I promise you I'll be good. And the next night comes along and, oh, hell no, your creative level is worse. Unplugged because we will always say yes to creativity. Totally Uncut because we all make mistakes. So turn it into a tool. This is Arroe Unplugged. All right. A little bit of a Wolfman Jack vibe there, isn't it? Yo, baby, you got the Wolfman Jack show. Or, hello again, I'm Casey Kasem from American Top 40. And now, the 40 biggest hits in America. How you doing? You doing good? No impersonating here. Let's just be each other. That's what this is all about. You know, a thought entered my soul early this morning. Multiple times during my daily writing, I have mentioned something about the future reader. Dear future reader. Addressing them in a way of being present in their moment of what is right now. And then I realized, and I hope I'm not crossing the line here, but aren't all books, including the Bible, written for and presented to travelers beyond our time? As a writer, the experience of putting thoughts and visions onto a page is like stepping free from reality to locate the language that connects the future with its own conversations. I talk with journalists every day around the world who work on stories 2 to 5 years before they're released to the public. And once in front of future receivers, it becomes our now, and it took 2 to 5 years to get there to ignite that path. The journey is an inspiration. To remain loyal to a person you may never meet. The impact of having the type of energy that could inspire other writers and creative minds. What you do is you think of the future receiver. Dear future reader. This podcast is a great example of that. I don't know what date you're presently on. My date happens to be November 16th, 2022. Where are you? And is this one of those letters? Dear future listener. Hey, it's Arroe. This is The Daily Mess, a chronological walk through an everyday world. I am a daily writer, and even as we speak, as I look out this studio window overlooking this gorgeous forest in South Charlotte, North Carolina, a 6-point buck, a whitetail, is walking by the studio. He just happened to look in like going, yo, what are you doing, man? And it's a moment. It's a moment of right now. We have deer, and they just love being with us. And looking in the window every now and then is what they do, and you giggle like a child. You know what? You got to document it, because there's always something special taking place in your every moment of right now. This is The Daily Mess. And surprise, it's another cloudy gray day. Combine that with fewer hours because of daylight savings time. Moving beyond what toils with your emotions requires more than just having a positive attitude. The activation demands physical movement. During my conversation yesterday with Jake Steinfeld, he's Body by Jake, I spoke of local gyms being subliminal walls of impatient negative fuel. You know, news, talk shows, sports, sitcoms, dealing with reality. Those on treadmills to stationary bikes to even pumping the weights, they add flow to their body supply. But the thing is, though, is that their minds are being fed with CNN, Fox News, Maury Povich, and whatever else is going to bring content into their system of choice. It's not just a cloudy day that physically poisons the presence of what is next in your steps. I'm easily swayed by the emotions that an old TV show concentrates on. And the show was from the 1950s. I mean, talk about limited light. These shows are in black and white. Awareness of the subjects that they're carrying is what gets inside my mind, body, and soul, and I've got to make a choice. Allow it to affect me, try to shove it to the side and say we'll deal with it later, or reach for the remote and get off the subject. You've got to learn how to plant love in your heart. So how do you do that, right? I mean, it seems like it should be something that we could be doing overnight, right? No. Learning how to plant love in your heart requires a constant conversation with the self you are. Now, that in itself is a lot of work, because there's a lot of ego involved in the very beginning steps, because you don't want to injure yourself, but then again, you want to cut right in and get to the chase. When you try to build up that relationship with the inner part of your body, the goal is to make sure that you have a daily discipline, a daily diet of you having a physical conversation, which is the reason why I keep a defrag journal. The defrag journal is if I'm questioning something that's in my mind, rather than running onto Google running to those places where you're going to get the poison. What I do is I try to figure it out first. I try to ask the question on the page and then come up with an answer. It may be wrong. And then when it is wrong, then I go searching. I don't sit there and say, well, I don't like the way the light is coming through the living room right now. Does it affect my emotions? Okay, let me go to Google. And, no. Learning how to plant love in your heart is knowing that you love your heart. You love what your body is doing. How do you know when you're doing it right? There's an essence about what you're carrying forward. There's an energy that people become attracted to. Well, what if I'm an introvert and I don't want people around me? That's a choice. That is a choice. Because I'm going to give you one of the greatest people on the planet when it comes to being an introvert of sorts, somebody who was very shy. They would have been very, very, very happy to stay on a farm raising horses and dogs. But no, that all changed. This one person who really was so shy and was such an introvert became the Queen of England, Elizabeth. So shy, and yet she was so giving to the rest of the planet. Planting love in your heart starts with a conversation with yourself. I'm Arroe, and that's the Daily Mess.